can be, just interject whenever you'd like or whenever you'd like to add something. Feel free to jump in. Feel free to have differences of opinion. It's totally okay. There's nothing personal here, or it's just us dudes chilling, chatting about video games. Hey folks, welcome back to Game Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the game news, the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we got another podcast, and this isn't going to be heavily edited. We got three of us. We got Q and Shepard joining us this time. Shepard was part of the last one, and yeah, we just kind of really enjoy doing these. We're not really looking for a ton of views or whatever, but just kind of giving our feedback. This one is going to be focusing on some of the changes, or as many of the changes that would have actually happened since Asha Sharma has been the CEO of Xbox since February to yesterday. Which would be May 7th. We're also going to talk about some of the changes that PlayStation has had this year and just kind of the direction of the consoles and kind of what they're focusing on. And then, yeah, we're probably going to bring up Nintendo and Steam and all of that. And then something, too, which was a really good point from Q, is just to kind of talk about kind of gaming becoming a premium product and not really being affordable for, like, the common dude and gal. And just kind of, yeah, what that looks like. Because, yeah, the prices have been insane. They've stayed high. And so far, there's just kind of no end in sight, regardless of where you play. So let's go ahead and get started. So, yeah, just Asha Sharma. It's kind of been hard to keep track of exactly what she's done. But took quite a bit of time. Some of it, too, there's rumors and stuff. If any of you guys have also heard other rumors and stuff that you'd like to talk about, we'll just talk about that at the end. After this, we have Matt Booty in February was promoted to Executive VP and Chief Content Officer, so he's like Herman Hulst, like for PlayStation. Jason Ronald, he is still the head of Project Helix. He was at the Games Developer Conference and talking about like streamlining the development process and adding tools for developers, and then also talked about Project Helix, post-processing upscaler AutoSR, which is like PSSR, FSR, and DLSS, except those actually like break down the image and then rebuild it. And this one doesn't do that. It just like post-processes over and kind of makes the adjustments in real time of the image that's made. It doesn't break it down and rebuild it. So that's supposed to be faster, but again, we haven't had one like this. So we'll have to see exactly how that works. That's currently being in testing, and will probably officially launch like into this year or next year, or especially when Project Helix comes out. Also, backwards compatibility kind of was restarted with Sarah Bond, but took a back seat. And then, Jason Ronald said that, yeah, they're going to be kind of booting that up again. They have some games that they've been working on, and we're going to hear more about that at the June showcase. Also, too, starting in April, we had Xbox achievements, so there was like a visual refresh, ability to hide games from a public list, like if you just tried them and didn't really like them, and also to kind of put and highlight completed games in the forefront. Kind of like you'd done something that like you're proud of or something like that. Also, too, maybe something like a platinum trophy. We'll have to see. That one's kind of more of a rumor than anything else. But yeah, there has been quite a bit of talk about that behind the scenes. Also, late April, it's no longer Microsoft Gaming. It's now Xbox Gaming. Also got a new Xbox logo and a new motto, "We are Xbox and return to Xbox." The marketing campaign of everything is an Xbox has basically completely been shelved. And they're just putting Xbox as a console now in the forefront for all of their marketing going forward. There's also been new UI and boot up changes. So like dynamic wallpapers and different types of tiles for your desktop if you wish, and a few more options with those. They've also now added that rewards can be spent directly right through the console. Doesn't have to be through the app or the PC. Early May, Game Pass Ultimate price changed from $30 to $23 a month. Which roughly saves us almost $100 a year, which is nice. I think it's about $285 for a year instead of $360. So that's a nice change. But Call of Duty is removed from Game 1 or Day 1 releases and will show up 1 year after launch. Decisions are also made to retire and wind down Copilot AI for consoles, so they're going to completely remove it. That's gone. And then they're working on scaling back mobile Copilot. So that won't completely disappear, but they're going to work on scaling that back and not shove it in your face so much, which I'll appreciate. Also been new leadership. Some of the seniors for 4 different positions: engineering, design, growth, and then subscriptions and cloud. All of these are promotions from the AI department that Asha Sharma was from before she became the CEO of Xbox. And there's also been 2 retirements partnered with this as well. So pushing out the old and bringing in new folks. I still kind of worry a little bit about the AI focus. But so far it hasn't been that bad, but doesn't mean it won't be later. So that's always something I'll kind of worry about a little bit. Yeah, the push of AI. I don't enjoy it that much.
Me either.
Yeah. It's been, and yeah, it's interesting too, because a lot of the younger folks, especially like I'm a millennial, I'm 36, but like especially like Gen Zers, they seem to don't like AI too much, but it's kind of affecting a lot of their jobs too. Did you want to say something, Q?
Well, I don't like AI in a whole, but it it does have some benefits in the gaming industry, with cons as well. But it does. A guy could
Yeah,
definitely play devil's advocate on it all night long.
yeah, I think there's definitely benefits to it. I mean, it can speed up processes. Like my brother, for example, who works in IT. He uses a Microsoft agent to help him with his work. And what takes him a month to do is done in a week. And yeah, very, very fast, right? And that type of integration is happening more in commercial. This I don't think it's super proficient yet, but kind of like when the agents start getting really good or get better at particular jobs or coding or whatever, there's still mistakes, but like AI doesn't understand context very well, and that's why it's good to still have like actual people working and doing things. Um, but yeah, I think it definitely has a place. But I think it's going to be kind of like the .com bubble, where so much is going to be pushed into, yay, websites or AI in this case, or data centers, and they're going to build out too much, and then it'll kind of blow up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think the technology is like going away or anything.
I think we can all agree the one place we believe it doesn't belong in is creativity. Trying to
Is
replace creativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
a big worry going around, I think, with a lot of gamers. And you do kind of see it with the LSS5. Kind of takes all the
Hmm.
art that the developers have made, just totally
Passion.
slopified. Yeah, but the graphics aren't even the problem. I think the graphics are great. Um, if anything needs worked on, it's physics. I think we're kind of there with the graphics, so I don't know why they're pushing
Yeah.
the AI
They just
unless they're
want
trying
more
to get rid
money,
of, yeah, trying to
more
get rid of
greed.
some overhead, less employees maybe. Would be my guess.
Well, and I think too they have to justify why you're going to buy a 60 series card. So, like you said, they've maxed out graphics now. Like pretty, probably as I stumble over my own words there, as far as they can, and they've maxed it out to death. Like we're not going to need an 8K screen, we're not going to need 8K visuals. Some people are going to be able to probably appreciate that, but who also can go buy a 100-inch TV, or has the space for that? So yeah, there's kind of a limitation of like who that's really for, and is that really going to be profitable at the end of the day? And also, every time we scale, um, man, we're really maximizing the number of pixels that have to be rendered and the amount of hardware that has to be used behind the scenes to actually put something on the screen. And 8K is not a doubling. It's actually, I'll try to put up something here for you viewers, but it's actually a quadrupling. So it's 4 times as many pixels. So it can really get really intensive and then you're trying to add ray tracing in there and HDR color and like all of this other stuff. And yeah, pretty soon, just like with DLSS 5, you're going to have to dual boot two 5090s to just run your game, which just sounds kind of insane. And again, who can afford that? So yeah, I'm sure somebody will push 8K though, which yeah, and 16 and 32.
8K is going to be insane.
Yeah, it's so much money. Like you look at 4K TVs now versus 8K TVs, and the price difference is massive. A couple $100 or maybe 500 or 1,000, all the way to like $2,000, $3,000 minimum, all the way up to like $8,000. It's ridiculous. I haven't looked at the prices recently, but yeah, it's expensive. And then you got to think too, the cable. The cable's got to shove all of that information through there. So I don't even know if 2.1B is enough, which is what probably most of us have if we have a PlayStation or an Xbox. But yeah, that really starts to get heavy. And then we see what happened with like Nintendo when they added ray tracing and 4K imaging. Nobody really cares. Because again, the games don't really warrant, at least their first party stuff doesn't really warrant a lot of that kind of fidelity upgrade, because it still looks like a cartoon. So I don't know. Yeah, but I think a lot of it kind of has to come from the justification, and that's going to be hard, I think, for NVIDIA and FSR and PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, and everybody is, what are they going to sell you on now? They've had decades of improving your graphics, and now they're going to have to sell you something else. So a cheaper alternative to gaming, like upscalers or Game Pass service or something. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Let's see, continuing on here. We also have an Xbox mode being made for PC. This is currently being tested, but this is going to be a full-screen controller-first experience, end quote. This is to simulate what the console would be on PC and handhelds that can basically run Windows 11, which is all of them. Doesn't have to necessarily be your ROG or a certain type of PC. It just has to have Windows 11 on it. So technically, you could even do your Steam machine if you wanted, which I don't know why you would, but you could. And this is basically adding the tiles for other PC storefronts or libraries. Again, I think it's more libraries than storefronts, but we'll see when it launches. So I don't think you'll be able to necessarily directly buy through Xbox mode. I think you'll just be able to sync up your libraries from Steam and stuff, and you'll still have to buy it through your phone or through your PC or whatever on Steam. Also, the idea is to free up somewhere between 1 to 2 gigabytes of RAM for a better gaming experience, shutting off some of the processing stuff in the background that Windows 11 is well known for bogging everything down. It's also going to be adding quick resume to PC and handhelds, which is great. Also, simple task switching for your PC or your handheld. So, if you want to quickly get to your desktop on your PC, you're supposed to be able to do that, and then whatever, and then switch back. And hopefully that'll work out pretty well. Full implementation is probably going to be next year, but there's been some rumors maybe at the end of the year. But I definitely think next year, or especially when we actually get Project Helix, which is the new console. Matt Booty, too, is also currently asking players to actually go vote on a backwards compatibility list at xboxgamepreservation.com. You can actually go there right now. Make sure to link that down in the description if I actually remember. I don't always. I apologize for those that have been following the channel for a while. But yeah, you can look at the entire list of all Xbox games, whether it's original or 360, and you can go vote on what you would like them to kind of work on next. So they have to go look for the licensing and go see if they can make a deal and then actually get it done. But it's really hard to find those licenses sometimes because it's all on paper. It's not in a computer somewhere, which is kind of crazy. Some of those games are super old, like the original Marathon. Also, to Play Anywhere, they're just reiterating that this is going to be like the new backwards compatibility. So your entire game library is now going to be attached to your profile. So if that gets hacked, that's going to be awful, right? Just like Steam. But yeah, that's just going to go with you between hardware, and that's kind of the idea. Just like what you can do with multiple PCs with your Steam account or GOG or whatever else. And so we're kind of getting away from that, and I think that's cool. I think that's better accessibility. Those are all the changes for Xbox, at least as of right now. Any thoughts, guys?
I think the quick resume on PC is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool also they added the ability to turn off quick resume on games on the Xbox console if you were having certain issues with some of them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice that there's been some of these changes, and none of them are like overly big, except maybe like the price decrease on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's just
But it's
quality
nice.
of life minor changes.
Yeah, it's just kind of nice to see a lot of this stuff happening in just 3 months.
Like, hey, they
And you,
kind of care.
yeah, and you think of the amount of time that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond had between the two of them working on Xbox
Seriously.
stuff. There's a lot of movement that just really didn't happen after Activision Blizzard King. That was in
Yeah,
23.
that felt like the biggest thing, and then like there was nothing really else that happened. It was just kind of stale. Like they were recovering from their big financial decision or something, or I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Well, and two, there was the pressure from Satya Nadella and Amy Hood, who's the financial officer at Microsoft, wanting to see better gains and more profitability. And I don't blame that, right? But an entertainment
Yeah.
business works different than a data center business or a software
hmm
business. Um, so it sounds like that stuff isn't necessarily there. Asha Sharma has also told Satya Nadella that, hey, it might take a year or two to kind of like reverse some of this stuff and get the ball rolling and start seeing some of that profitability. So she's asking for time. Of course, if it goes past that time, maybe then she should be worried a little bit. But yeah, I think Satya Nadella, more than anybody, really messed up a lot of stuff. Because if you're now having to follow what they want as heads of a company, including Amy Hood, with profitability margins, well, then you can't really do what you want to do, maybe, or you have to put things out there that maybe aren't ready. And I think that's where, like, an example, part of the marketing campaign debacle came from. And not even having a real marketing team. They've added that too now under Asha Sharma at Xbox. I forgot to add that one. But yeah, there's a whole division now. I don't know how big it is, but a whole division of like, hey, you guys are to market Xbox. And we didn't really have that under Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond.
Which definitely is good because it really seems like if your marketing isn't on point, then you're gonna struggle.
Yeah, well, and a lot of confusion too. Of just what Game Pass is, of what's connected with Game Pass and what's not, and and how you're able to get things or do things between PC, mobile, and the console. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff up in the air for multiple years, and yeah, there just wasn't a lot of good communication on that, and I think that's probably the biggest problem. So, but I think it's good that like Xbox is having quality of life improvements and a refocus of the Xbox. So the OGs like me and Shepard here, feel about and stuff. And it'd be like on PlayStation 2 if like they didn't really focus on those that have been with the platform forever, or if Steam did the same thing or Nintendo. It's like you want to be able to feel like you're important and that your loyalty to some degree is rewarded or you're at least thought about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's really the point?
Yeah, it's like how much money you spend with these corporations, at least have a little bit of a thank you.
Yeah. And like I'm thankful like Xbox has a rewards program still. It's worse with some of the changes that they made. I used to get 150 a year in credit, and now I can only get 100. So that sucks. But like I can still get 100 a year with Game Pass, and now Game Pass is cheaper from $30 to $23 a month. It still may be more than I would want. Um, but this might be a good time too to kind of talk about some of the rumors around Xbox. I don't know too many because I don't dabble in that very much. Um, but like one of them being more changes with the Game Pass subscriptions of like being able to kind of pick and choose what your special perk is. So if you don't want Fortnite, you might be able to change it out for something else, or just be able to drop it and maybe have a cheaper price tag. What do you guys
Yeah,
think about that?
customizing your own Game Pass tier is definitely a smart way to go, I'd say, just because people actually feel like it's personalized for them. They don't feel like their money or isn't at value being wasted on something that they're not going to use or be interested in.
Well, there's one feature ever since I moved to PC that I've utilized a lot. And I think if Xbox or PlayStation, either one of them adopted it, it would do numbers. Um, that is the fact that you can buy a game as long as you don't have more than 2 hours on it and haven't
Oh,
owned it
yeah.
more than 2 weeks. No questions asked, guaranteed refund.
I'm
Now,
really glad you brought
PlayStation
this
and
up.
I
Xbox,
completely forgot about that until he
they
brought that
tech
up.
they technically have a refund policy, but like, oh gosh, you get like
You can't
24
download it,
hours, and there has to be something wrong with it. Yeah, you can't download it.
which is insane. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
14 days and it can't be downloaded. So it'd be like if you bought a product and never took it out of the wrapping. Oh, I bought the wrong one, and then you could refund it. But as soon as the wrapping is torn, nope, frick you, man. You can't refund the game. Now the game's got
Although,
to be broken, so they did that for Starfield, and or like Cyberpunk 2077 was another one. But yeah, that's a really frustrating policy.
it is. And Steam, like, there could be nothing wrong with the game. It could be nothing more than, hell, it could be a 2 hour game that you beat in 119 minutes. As
Yeah,
long as you know it reached 120, no questions asked. They
you're
don't care.
okay. And yeah, it's that is so player friendly. And the thing that I get frustrated with a lot of these console companies is the walled gardens that they've been used to and how they've monopolized everything. But I'm thankful for YouTube and all of the other type of stuff that's out there. Whatever the latest social media trend is, I have no idea. I'm too old for that now. Um, but like just being able to get it out there of what's available because younger generations, unlike myself, we didn't really have a view of what was really going on outside of PlayStation or Xbox. We didn't really know much about Steam. Steam was really hated for its first few years, and because it was all digital and everything, and there were some other policy changes. But Steam's done a wonderful job of making adjustments and making sure that it's more player first than pretty much anywhere else, including with the refund policy. And so they've had a really good reputation and earned a lot of goodwill, and that's why there's over 180 million users every year on Steam.
They've done a lot of good. Now, I
Yeah.
will play devil's advocate. There's one thing about Steam, and I think it's Steam in particular, might be Epic too. But when you go to purchase a game, there's a little fine print in there. I'll pull it up later, but it says something along the
I'll add
lines where you
this.
don't actually own it.
Yeah.
oh,
You're
yeah.
practically leasing the rights to play it, but you
Renting
don't
it, basically.
exactly.
So yeah, that
So
was
they,
debated for quite a
And they can
while,
just
and
take it
finally they
off
had
at
to put
any
that on
time.
there. Yeah.
now,
So yeah, you're.
what about with PlayStation or Xbox Store? Does anyone know if you own the IP when you buy it, or is it the same deal?
Nope.
I know for PlayStation you do get a permanent license. Um, so that's like a double-edged sword there, because you have a license and it's permanent to your account, like to your profile. Um, and as for most of the physical discs of their first party games and quite a few third party, you still actually have all of the data on there, which is wonderful. So if you wanted to rip it, if you wanted to emulate it, you could, right? You could take the ROM and you could run with it. But the digital side, there's still a license. It's just a permanent loan, in my view, to your profile. For Xbox, we used to have a lot of Xbox One Series X versions. You would see that on the case, and you have all of the data for the Xbox One version of the game. In most cases, unlike Modern Warfare 2, the reboot, there's only 328 megabytes on there, I think. The rest of it had to be downloaded for the game, so it was just a blank, really. And that happens more and more often lately, unfortunately, even with their first-party stuff. And some of their first parties don't even get a disc release, like Avowed. That is digital only, and that sucks. But yeah, the digital side, they still give you like a permanent license, and that's got to be verified with plugging the game in, and it's got to be connected in with your profile, and then you, quote, have it. I wouldn't want to say own it necessarily, but you have it. With the physical side, if all of the data is on there, generally for the Xbox One Series X versions, all of the one is on there, and then your day one patch or upgrade is the smart delivery system of Xbox looking at your console and the game that you have in there. And if you have the Series X or S, it gives you then all of the upgraded textures and 4K and ray tracing and all of that extra stuff. And so that's what that download patch is for, and that's why it's usually huge, because all of that is a lot more data. So yeah, you have the Xbox One version officially, but you don't have like the Series X data on the disc most of the time. Yeah, which is kind of a bummer.
Go
ahead.
GOG's like the only one that.
Yeah. For those that don't know, good old games, GOG, they are the only ones that actually have a continuing list that they're adding to of games that are completely DRM, quote, digital rights management, free. So that means you completely own it all. You don't need a special launcher. You don't need to log in. You don't need an online check. That's all gone. And they are continuing to build out that all the time. It's slow because they don't have like a ton of devs doing that. I'm sure it takes quite a bit of work. But yeah, if you wanted to, you can see if GOG has something and then just buy it from them, which is great. And then you own it all.
They also let gamers petition to bring some of the classics back.
Yeah, and those also, by the way, are DRM free. So again, not all of their games, but they are the only company right now trying to actually make a DRM free catalog out of everybody, which is really cool. If you still have Steam, you can still go through the code, crack your game. I'm not saying do this, right? Because it's bad. So I'm doing that for the channel. But if you want to, you can crack your game, and you can rip that stuff out of there, and then you have your own free DRM game. And you can do that with pretty much every Steam game that's out there. Even the newer releases. But I'm not condoning that, of course. I'm just talking about it.
Now, GOG is owned by the people who made The Witcher, correct?
No, they sold it. They sold it to the original creator. Yeah, he bought it last year. We don't know how much.
But they were? It was.
They were originally owned by CD Projekt Red. But CD Projekt Red isn't quite in line with what GOG wants to do. And so GOG has split off and now their own thing. And the original creator has his project back, which is really cool. And when he bought it, he said that he is still committed to everything that GOG stands for. So that's really neat. And I think, too, that it's great that we're going to get it on the next-gen Xbox. That's going to be available. Because it's going to be so cool to like...
It'll be like a hybrid console PC.
Yeah.
I'm really afraid that the price...
I think the price
is
is going to be
around
nice.
$1,400, $1,500. That'd be my estimate.
Yeah,
Last
I
I'll
think it's going
buy
to be high.
it.
And
Like
then the
my
cheaper
PC
one might
was
be around 1200, 13.
my PC was 1950. It was a Black Friday deal, but 2 terabyte, 32 gigabytes of GDDR5 and a 5080 AMD
Yeah, that's
7900
expensive.
X.
Isn't that like
Um,
$3,000 now?
the 5080
Well, yeah, when you bought it, was what, a couple years ago, right?
bought it Christmas or a little before Christmas, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it was a twenty
Oh,
five
last
hundred
year.
dollar PC, but they
Wow,
already discontinued it. Like these pre-builds get discontinued
pretty
um,
quick.
pretty quick. So I'd
But
have to
but
do a
I'm
little research on what the equivalent would be.
yeah, I'm sure it's more with
But
just what prices have been doing. They haven't been spiking as hard like for RAM and SSDs and stuff. But yeah, the price is still going up. And that's just not PC parts and stuff. That's just for everything. Since we're talking about price a little bit, um, PlayStation
Refurb.
did announce um, that they increased console prices, and then pretty soon after that, they also increased the refurbished prices as well, an extra $100. So yeah, I mean, we have another $650 console, just like Xbox. Xbox, nobody talked about it, but Xbox also had increased $100 to their refurbed models, and now PlayStation has too. And then the PlayStation 5 Pro is now $900 after the PSSR 2.0 update that we just got, like I think in March. But yeah, hardware's expensive too. Uh, we remember too with Nintendo that the Switch One had an increase for each version, all three versions. Um, Probably trying to get more people to buy the Switch 2. And now we've just heard from Nintendo as well, out of a Bloomberg report, that now they're going to be looking to add another $50. So it's not $450; it's now going to be $500. Yay! It's just so wonderful. And yeah, it's really just getting pretty expensive. Um, and then too, PlayStation has also added dynamic pricing. That's currently being tested in several regions, but that's eventually going to be everywhere at some point later this year. And then yeah, they've also canceled their rewards program, and they're still pushing toward live service. I guess Fair Games is still in the pipeline, and Marathon is blowing up, unfortunately, for Bungie, and Destiny 2 isn't looking really any healthier. And PlayStation, or Sony officially, just wrote down another $765 million impairment loss on the studio of Bungie. So yeah, that's expensive. They had to do that as well for Destiny 2, I think in 24 or 25 for another 240 million. So it's almost $1 billion loss on one studio, and they're still here while they've closed down like Blue Point and Dark Outlaw Games and others. So yeah, it's just getting expensive. And even though it's expensive for us, I want to point out too, which I know is unpopular. People in the comments tell me all the time, but it's expensive for these companies too. Because even though, especially Microsoft is and Nvidia are part of the problem of why everything costs so much, um, they still have to pay prices. I mean, we just found out from Microsoft's last earning report that they had to pay an extra 123% increase, so more than double for their hardware cost, which is crazy. That is so much money. What do you guys think about all that?
well, the reason I bring up the price of my PC is, it's who knows what it'll be to get the equivalent hardware, or it'll probably be next gen hardware at that point. But my point being is, if the Xbox is anywhere near 14 or $15 mark, I honestly think it would be foolish to buy it over a PC. You already got, you're in big boy mode, you're in big boy money. Might as well go with the PC.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. I mean, what I think the pricing will be across the board. I was already sure that the PlayStation 5 and Switch 2 prices were going to go up. Um, the PlayStation was going to match Xbox, so yay, gold star for me, I guess. And then also that the Switch 2 was going to go up maybe $50 or $100. Because yeah, again, it just costs money. And then I think the Steam machine by itself will probably be $800 or $900. I hope not. But
There's
it's
a reason
it's
they
just a
haven't
lot of
released
money.
it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Because they
they even
weren't
just
planning on this. It's just kind of come out of nowhere. They were really
yeah,
close to the finish line to release.
it's
The
screwing
RAM
everybody.
skyrocketed. They were trying to get you a small, not a super powerful, but just a small, convenient way to play computer games
Yeah.
on your TV, and then it kind of hit the fan and put everything on hold for that. So
Yeah, and it's a ton of money. I mean, they just released the Steam controller, which is $100, and they're like, "Yeah, we can release this because it doesn't have any RAM in it." you know, so the frame and the machine, that's still they're still committing to 2026. Um, but I think it's definitely a higher price point than what they were planning on. Because man, it's just expensive, and I don't think. I mean, they could, but I don't know if the next gen consoles too for PlayStation and Xbox should come out next year. I think it should be more like 28 or 29.
I feel like
A lot of
2028 bare minimum.
yeah, a lot of people like what Shepard said is that we don't feel like the generations have really started that much. I mean, we had COVID, that was fun for everybody, and lockdowns, and then we had supply chain issues for 3 years after that through 2024. And then we have this marvelous inflation and economic trouble on top of that. And so, yeah, it's just been a good time. And we really just kind of want to get back to gaming and stop playing live service to death. So, I mean, at least I do. I'm ready to have good stories again, and we are getting some. But you can't blow hundreds of millions on a live service game anymore. It just freaking costs too much. Even like Battlefield and Black Ops 7.
oh man, I haven't played that one.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
played a little
Game
bit.
Pass is missing too much. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Drop it, what, $8 a month, and you don't get Call of Duty for a year? Seems like a
Yeah,
deal to
23 a
me.
month. Yeah, I'm happy about it. I mean, to avoid the $30 per month price increase, I was still buying the $20 per month redemption cards at stores like GameStop and Walmart and stuff. And I'm stacked up for 3 years now, so I'm good through like 2029 or through part of 29. Um, but yeah, I didn't want to pay 30. It was too much for what I was using it for.
Oh
I
yeah,
took a
no.
quick peek. Right now, a gigabyte GeForce RTX 5080 at 16 gigs is $1,500
Yeah,
just for the card itself,
it's ridiculous.
and that's
Look
on
up a
Newegg.
5090.
There's others for 1330, 1400, 1700. Yeah, let's buy that one. Let me do 5090 real fast. So yeah, the cost too. Just it doesn't matter where you play. It just costs too damn much. It is too much. Yeah, $4,000,
Whoa.
5,600, 3,900, 8,000. I mean, let's just keep going. It's just money.
Well, there's a market for those. There's those kind of people
Yeah,
out there
DLSS 5, two of them. Let's go, baby. $16,000 freaking 2D makeup on your character. Whoosh! Could you just imagine the blast from the turbos running on that thing, trying to keep your computer going? It'd be pretty ridiculous. Anyway, but yeah, gaming has just gotten so expensive. I think I put up a poll, and it was like around 40% were saying that they're just going to stick with current hardware playing games going forward, like as long as they can, because it just costs so much to play. And then you still have the $70 games. You still, which a lot of them are still kind of buggy and a mess, and just like I think of Monster Hunter Wilds, my gosh, that couldn't have launched worse in my opinion. Um, and yeah, it's just a lot of money, and then you have all of these games coming out, which I got 3 this month. I'm kind of screwed trying to get this all out in my channel, but I'm gonna try. But I have Subnautica 2 Early Access. I have Forza Horizon 6 and Lego Batman. Um, and if I didn't have Game Pass, I would just be buying one of them. I wouldn't be, playing all 3. So that's a cheaper way just for me to actually be able to play games, and I think that's the thing going forward. So I still think it sucks. I totally understand the argument of wanting to buy your games. I like to buy my games too, but I don't think all of them really need to be bought. I'm okay with playing it a little bit, or maybe I don't like it. And so when stuff is on Game Pass, I kind of treat it like a rental system, and I get to try stuff. And my wife, she gets to try stuff too. And if we really like it, Game Pass allows us to buy it at a discount usually, which is nice, anywhere from 10 to 30%. And anyway, a lot of big games, they go on sale quickly. Anyway, Battlefield, I think, has chronically been on sale even since pre-order. Black Ops 7 was one of the fastest on-sale Call of Duties ever.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just saw Sonic Racers, which just came out last year for $30 at Walmart, so I picked it up. And then also, I saw Borderlands 4 for half off. And it's like, it's crazy just how cheap and fast these games get.
That now that you bring it up, stopping and buying the game at a store, that is one thing that really grinds my gear about the design of the PS5 Pro. For $900, what's the base? What's the base model? Is it like 550?
Oh, 650. It's 650.
It's 650.
Just like just like the Xbox Series X. Mm-hmm.
For
with the disc drive.
$250 more. For $250 more, you lose a disc drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the disc drive-less version for the Slim is now $550.
Good night.
Instead of $400 when it first came out.
Xbox,
most people don't remember
Xbox
that, but
is
that's
the same
that's
way
wild.
though.
Yeah. They
were the first
Series S
to do it.
Is $380, and the Series X is $650. And what's the Galaxy version, Shepard?
I think it's around. It's like 800 now, or 900.
Wait, the
Wow.
Galaxy.
Yeah, that's the
2
terabyte limited edition version.
Oh, okay, same
For like
hardware
Master
though?
Chief, right? Yeah.
Other than the
No, it's
Yeah,
not. It's not a Halo one. That's just like a Galaxy theme one.
Okay, some limited edition, 2 terabyte version. All right. The discless 2 terabyte version is $600.
I feel like
interesting.
You could buy a wrap on Amazon for like, I don't know, probably 10 or $15.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because the consoles that I see selling right now, like when I go to Walmart or Fred Meyer or whatever, is I see the base model PlayStations selling. The Slims and Pros are still there. And then on the Xbox side, I see the digital versions selling. And the hard drive 650 version is sitting on the shelf. So I think it's interesting that the people going for the PlayStation, they want the disc drive. And the people that are currently buying the Xbox are going for the digitals.
So like the S?
Yeah, the S and the 2 terabyte $600 version.
They're probably going after that just probably because that's what they can afford. Does the S, really quick question, the S doesn't play every game, right? Some games are X only?
No, it still plays every game. That's a requirement under Microsoft, is that if the game is going to run for Series X, it has to run on the S as well. But
They've been
usually you
holding
can
back
scale.
the Series X.
Yeah, you can scale back the ray tracing or the resolution. I would just make it 1080p. I think that's easy enough, and it's a lot less taxing than 4K native images, which is 4 times as much the resolution. So, but yeah, that's one of the requirements. But yeah, that does hold back game development. But I would also make the argument it makes it easier to build now for the ROG Allies and handheld market, because that's also not as beefy in some cases. You can get the super beefy version if you want, but yeah, if you want a handheld, which isn't for me, I like sitting down and having a whole experience playing my video games on console. But the younger generations, they like the mobile and the handheld market a lot more.
They're making a comeback. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. And so, so it makes more sense to be able to build for like weaker hardware with handhelds being out there more. Because, now you have Tencent and MSI and Asus and Lenovo and ROG and freaking, I mean, they're all making one. Yeah. Xbox, I guess, was it Keynon? Project Keynon was their first party version of a handheld that, I don't know if that's been canceled or paused. We'll have to see. And now we have Asha Sharma in the mix, so who knows? But apparently PlayStation is also making a handheld too. That's supposed to be paired with the PlayStation 6. That's the rumor anyway. So, like, console companies are having to figure out, it's like, okay, just console isn't really enough anymore. We need more money. And so they're pushing into other markets, like being more PC or integrating that, or being more mobile or handheld market. And that's even what Nintendo did. I mean, they used to have two separate markets, and now they've merged them together.
Games on PC.
Yeah.
PlayStation has been doing that.
Yeah, and I still haven't heard officially from PlayStation if they're actually going to stop putting ports on PC. But I also don't know if they want to say no to roughly $500 million a year in PC port sales.
They're kind of desperate for some sales right now when they took that hit from Bungie.
Yeah, Bungie, dude. I'm just waiting for that to be the nuclear bomb. I've made videos on that. If you guys are interested, the viewers, I'll have some of those on the end screen. But yeah, I started talking about the nuclear bomb going off at Bungie back last year, like in October, because it's like I just don't see a super niche genre with a big AAA budget making their money back. It just doesn't math.
Nope.
And it's still fun, you know.
They both kind of shot themselves in the foot. I mean, Xbox.
Yeah, they have.
Well, I mean, really bad, because let's be honest, if you've got a decent PC that'll run everything, at settings or whatever, just so it's playable, there's no reason. None. There's not one game.
Yeah, because you can get all of their games on Steam.
And crossplay
and the Game Pass. You can get Game Pass Ultimate on PC.
Yeah, on PC.
And then the Xbox mode, isn't that?
Yeah, and that's a part of it too.
There's only one. There's only one of them that is absolutely exclusive. That is Nintendo, who I think is taking way too much advantage. And the people they're screwing over is their
own players.
Market, so it doesn't even make sense to me. But I've yet to see any AAA game ever get discounted. Like Legend of Zelda, that come out, 6 years ago? The Breath of the Wild? 8 years, and it's still $70.
Yeah. It's really cool you brought this up, too. I haven't done a video yet, so spoilers for the viewers here, is that For the first time, the games for the Switch 2 are being discounted, including some first-party titles, because they're not selling.
You're kidding me.
What,
I'm
discount
not.
like 5 cents?
$10.
Oh, damn.
Some $12. And
Are
yeah,
these
it depends.
AAA?
No, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm serious.
No. Are these AAA?
Yeah, he's...
Yeah. So these are like Kirby Air Riders. Even one of them for pre-order right now, which is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. The
Donkey
physical,
Kong.
that one is still the same price. Donkey Kong is, but you also
Interesting.
see this with Pokemon ZA, which sold I think 7 million copies, or 8 million, maybe even more by now. So it sold a lot of copies, right? But it was also bundled with the Switch too. But yeah, they're even selling that one at a discount. And if you go on Walmart, you can start seeing those discounts. So Best Buy isn't doing those discounts yet. And of course, Nintendo isn't doing those discounts yet. They want to get as much money as they can, just like PlayStation or Xbox. But yeah, third party retailers, they're like, we just need to move some product because it's not selling. So to see discounts on anything Nintendo is just kind of insane.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they've always like, oh great, here's every game now is going to be $70, and the
Then
physical
80.
copies are going to be another $10 on top of that, and then so far we just have one $80 Nintendo game, even digital, which is Mario Kart World, and the physical version of that is $90. I mean,
Ain't that just no?
pay up, simps. Let's go. I mean, it's just such a, and it still looks like a cartoon. And I can't wait to get my hands on Forza 6. That driving in Japan should be pretty fun. I mean, the individual pedals dance along the road as you drive by. I mean, it's gonna be pretty fun, I think, at least for some people. But they roll out like, hey, we're doing something that's already existed since Horizon 1. And I think especially the younger generations, they get to see so much now, with all of the information available for free, all of the shows, all of the podcasts, all of the newspaper articles and stuff, and all the reviews. And they get to look at stuff. And two, the Switch 2 has the lowest average of first-party game scores. A lot of them are in the 60s, which is really crazy. Even Pokemon Champions, that just came out, and it's like a 65 from critics, and it's even worse from players, just by a little bit. So I think the scales are kind of coming off for everybody that's in the console market and looking at what else is available, like Steam and PC, and being like, frick yeah, that looks way better. I'm excited for that. And I think that's why PC or Xbox is making the Helix and porting their games over already, like they have since Halo 1, because they have to. That's where the money is. And PlayStation has been doing that since God of War in 2020. And again, they're doing that because they have to. They have to make sure that the game that they're making is profitable. And I think even at some point, Nintendo now that they want to add ray tracing and 4K and all of these other graphical things, well, it takes longer to make. So that's increasing the cost to make the game. And then they also have to rely more on third-party releases, which are also not really selling. And so they're not making as much revenue off of that either. And now they're raising the price at some point this year to $500 for the Switch 2. And I don't think I've ever seen a point where console has seemed so weak as a whole. And I know a lot of buddies that are, well, even you, Q. I'm going to PC. And I'm not looking back really. It's just where I'm going to go and where I'm going to stay, and I know several that have gone that route.
It really is it took a lot to finally come over, but it what it was for me was it didn't feel like we were getting any really good IPs on consoles.
Yeah.
And then you look over at all these videos, these streamers playing games, and they're playing indie games that are only developed for PC, and you're like, man, looks
That
like
looks
someone had
fun.
a lot of passion building that,
Yeah.
you know?
Like, I'm
All
excited
the
for
mods.
Kingmakers.
On
Oh,
the
yeah,
mods.
mods too, dude. There's so many ways to tweak your game and adjust it and improvements before the
Oh,
devs can even get their patches out there.
there's even
It's
4K
awesome.
mods for like Witcher 3. You can play
Hmm.
that on 4K on PC.
Yeah, I got into some of the mods for like Fallout 4, and it's unbelievable the amount of stuff that's out there. And it makes me excited too for the future of gaming because Um, I do think developers in the future will get more lazy, and I think publishers will also push more. Kind of be like Bethesda, where it's like, hey, we kind of want our community to fix some stuff, um, and kind of create a blank slate, like in Starfield. Hey, we only populated 50 planets, but hey, you guys get to populate the other 950 planets with your mods, and that was a pretty cheap move, I think. Um, Not that they couldn't have done that in the future, but even Battlefield 6, they have a special portal where people on PC can literally build their own maps. And they have all of the developer tools and all of the digital assets in the game, and they can build out their freaking map and stuff, and create different modes and stuff. Like that reminds me of Halo 3 with Halo Forge, just building your own map modes and stuff. And that was so fun. That was such an exciting time. And I feel like we're getting back to that, which, yeah, I think that's great. And two, if developers can make money off of their mods, I think that's cool for them. But I also don't think with like Bethesda, they need to charge a freaking arm and a leg for mods that are broken. So again, we kind of get back to that return policy. It's like, hey, this kind of sucks. I want my money back because there's still some mods like for Starfield that are like $10, $15 where the gun that you buy as part of the pack and part of the mission doesn't even work right. You can't even reload it, and that's still that's still a problem, even though it's been 2 years now.
Hmm. I mean, for the
So
last 20 years, it's an undisputed fact that PC is superior in every way other than two main categories in console. And those two categories that they're slacking in is usability or ease of use. Like a console, you plug it into the TV, into the power,
mm-hmm.
hit your controller, lay back in the couch, lay in your bed, whatever. It's just easy. PC,
There's some work to
you
it.
gotta sit up. You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta be at a desk.
And you got to have some nice thing for your possible carpal with your mouse, and you know,
Number two is price. Or that actually should be
yeah,
the number one factor. But as we're going forward, I actually think that we're moving towards like to the point where PC isn't gonna really be more expensive. Like price isn't gonna be an issue because these consoles are going so through 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 the roof right now that that it actually isn't too crazy to just be like, I'm gonna spend an extra $100 and get a PC that has similar hardware, but
yeah,
way better
with
optimization.
greater liberty and
Mm-hmm.
accessibility, and
Well,
I've
you
said it.
save money in the long run too. If you can
Yeah,
get within that 200 price range, you'll make that back in the first year. Off of not having to pay for online subscriptions, and B, games are way cheaper because there's like five different major storefronts, so they're all competing
yeah,
with
the
each other.
competition.
And the
On
Yeah,
Steam
sales
sales are going on all the time.
all the
yeah.
time.
Well, and there's so many games. I mean, too, just in 2024, there was 19,000 games added to Steam.
Jeez.
So it's like you're gonna see 50 of those. You
One
know,
thing I
the
like
other
is
the other ones you're never gonna see ever. So yeah, game's got to be cheap.
Steam Workshop is definitely another big thing. That's definitely nice about PC.
Yeah, I actually just saw that yesterday.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's how I
I was
play
like,
Black
what
Ops
is
3
this?
custom maps, and it's just literally go and it's so easy, like user friendly. It's as
Yeah,
easy as working a console.
it was it was weird because I was looking up an old PlayStation 1 game called Soviet Strike, and really fun for back then anyway. I think a lot of people would find it boring today, but anyway, I was kind of looking at that and I saw it was in the workshop for Steam, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is, because I primarily play on Xbox. I have a little bit of experience on Steam and PC. But yeah, it's like a mod for VR. Like
Damn.
they took the old game, made it a VR thing, and I don't know if you're like full in the cockpit or whatever, but dude, I would be absolutely buying that, or downloading it or whatever, and playing the crap out of it because that would be so fun. Um, and yeah, that's just built by somebody, you know, that is passionate about gaming. It's some old game that most people don't even know about today. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I've said before in previous vids, and gotten some pushback, but it's like accessibility is going to be king. It's not going to be the exclusives. I really think the exclusivity model is over, and when people can see what is available in the grand scheme of things, they're going to go to where the accessibility is and where they're treated the best and where the best competition is, and that's Steam. And console companies, I think going forward, can either accept what their player base is as it slowly shrinks and adjust their business model off of that, or they can just be a part of the PC market and ultimately go that way. And that's where Xbox
I
is going, and Nintendo is staying as a console, right? And focusing on exclusives. So we'll see what happens. But as things get more expensive, you're going to go where you're treated better.
I honestly think that I'm surprised that is bringing out a new console, but it would not surprise me if this is going to be their last,
Yeah.
because they have. Well, I don't know. They've made some changes that I take that back. My opinion's kind of changing some recent events, but just a few weeks ago, I was kind of getting the impression that Xbox doesn't care about their hardware. They made it pretty evident that they were really just going towards the Game Pass, if that was their golden goose. And it's like, why do they need a console? They they really don't.
Yeah. I think already we all know that keep up with gaming that Xbox already lost the console war. Like with the last gen, with Xbox One. And the digital libraries have been built up now. And so the quote biggest console is still Nintendo, which the PlayStation folks never really want to acknowledge, I feel like. But between the two, PlayStation definitely won with PlayStation 4. I mean, I had a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. And yeah, I liked PlayStation 4 better. Felt like it was better value then. Um, and really enjoyed what they were doing with the player base and stuff compared to Don Matrick with Xbox One. He was only CEO for 10 months, thank goodness, until we got Phil Spencer.
Didn't you have to have the Kinect plugged in at all times?
Yes, until Germany threatened to ban the console. Then they changed the software with an update so that it didn't have to be connected. Because
There's
Germany
some
law,
serious security issues with that.
yeah, Germany law does not allow any third-party company to have a device that is always on and connected to the internet because they deem that as a surveillance device. which it is. I think of the little robots that like vacuum your carpet or whatever. It's crazy. There was a data hack a few years ago, and there's tons of nudes flying out there on the internet because people after a shower are walking by their robo their robo vacuum, and it's got right. It takes pictures, even though the company, if I'm remembering right, said it didn't. But yeah, it's like, well, that's a problem because, of course, nobody knows who those people are, right? It's not like there's names attached to it and stuff. But yeah, that hack was a big deal, and yeah, I think too, going forward, even talking with just age verification, I'll also try to have. I need to write these down. Age verification video. It's just getting to a more dystopian kind of reality where everything is scrutinized and surveillanced and learned about you, again for profit or for safety or whatever, and it's just getting to the nth degree, and age verification is a part of that, unfortunately. Oh yeah, I guess that was one thing I forgot to mention too, was the age verification with Xbox and PlayStation. So let me add that here. With Xbox, they're making the change for the UK, and they are expected to update that for other regions going forward as they make the laws. For PlayStation, they're just implementing it across the board. For both of these companies, if you do not age verify, then your party chat and messaging and messages and stuff, basically those features go away. Everything else stays the same.
Are they going to do that on Call of Duty?
Does that mean, though, I'm wondering if this is what he was asking, is that mean that Call of Duty will go back to kind of its old roots where you're not going to be chat banned for saying literally anything? Because of having age verification, and then that was the whole point. It was to keep all the kids safe that you're advertising and marketing these games for the past how many years for. So it's like, I really hope
I don't know. Yeah,
they need to at least scale it back and try to find like a middle ground, because I definitely understand, like, back in the day, like, it was just, it was a free-for-all and got ridiculous, but at the same time, people should also still have the freedom to be able to express themselves. If it's really that annoying, you literally just mute people. That's what I did.
It's not that hard.
Don't have to
or two, you just
everybody.
Talk back like Q here. Man, you should hear him.
Actually,
I'm serious. Dude, you just you just step out of the way and it's like, go ahead, bro. And it's just, man, it is a few minutes until, he is like mic banned or whatever. And it's hilarious. Yeah. And as soon as it's available, it's like getting out of jail. Big smile on his face. He's like, yeah, baby. Come on. We know you want to talk. Let's go. I mean, it's so funny. Yeah, I love it.
It's like, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's really grind my gears, man, because it would ban me for, like, mine were getting up to, like, 2 weeks or a month. But you'd think it would just be prox chat, right? No, it was party chat, like the whole game chat. So you couldn't even, in a private party, you couldn't even talk. So it'd have to, I think they did this right before Discord came to PlayStation. So I was just kind of screwed trying to talk to my friends on the Xbox for a while there. Plus we had PlayStation. If they were on PlayStation to do PlayStation Party, but... Yeah, I thought it was ridiculous because they're like, "Oh, you need to keep the chat, family friendly." I'm like, "This is not a family game. It's M-rated,
the M-rated game."
Yeah,
and this is America.
Yeah, and I think too, if that's really the issue, then just the games need to go up a year, and just be PEGI 18 or just rated A, with the ESRB in America.
Yeah,
just
whatever happened.
Not make them for minors anymore. Yeah, because rated M is just 17 and rated A is 18. Just don't make them for kids anymore. Just rate them higher. I'm assuming
the reason they stopped making the A-rated games is just because they could be able to sell it more to more wide variety of people.
Yeah. if a game is rated A, like actually GTA 2 or 3 was, I forget which one.
I think it
But
was
yeah, if it's
2.
rated A, it can't be on retailers' shelves.
Really? Because
Really,
I remember seeing
because it's
an
adults,
adult.
right?
I was seeing adult rated games at the Kmart in our town. So
Yeah, that was a new law in like 2010s or something when GTA rated A like hit the news, and I knew that's when like things were going to change
Wait,
because there was
GTA?
like nudity and all this other stuff, and
yeah,
so yeah, it got a rated A rating to adjust for that, and then uh, you know I don't know, don't want kids looking at the back of the cover art or whatever on the game, which doesn't have nothing anyway. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, there is definitely something to be said with just like as a parent, the government should not have control over what I let my kids watch. But like, yeah, if I want them to watch, like, I'm gonna be real. We were kind of talking about what war was, and so I let them watch a really small snippet of Saving Private Ryan when they were storming the beach. But like, they have a
yeah.
concept of that now, and so
And
from that
parents
point
should be
on,
able to know
th-
when their kids are mature enough to be able to
yeah,
see and be able to experience it. Because guess what? Not everybody is the same. People
right.
grow up and stuff at different ages and mature at different rates. Not
Yeah, but
just
all of
from
my kids do so
gender, like
far, right?
just in general, like everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah,
There's certain things I won't let them see. There's certain games I won't let them play, even though
that's how
they're
my parents
technically
were.
like old enough are, but it's like I'm the parent. I get to choose and decide, right, what my kids get to get exposed to and the amount and intensity of it. It shouldn't be my government.
Yeah, even when I was 17, my parents didn't want me playing GTA.
Yeah, mine too. But my parents did let me play some games that were rated M.
Yeah, I
Um,
played Call of Duty with my dad and
yeah.
played James
It,
Bond. He's the one who got me into playing
yeah,
shooter games
James
with
Bond
watching
GoldenEye
him
was
playing.
awesome.
Did you ever play the GoldenEye version for the 360 or the Wii? That one was the one that we played split screen together, and it was so fun.
I played the GameCube version. Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that it's like, and I gotta say too, like with the kind of making everything the same for the safety of minors and how we're kind of like washing everything over. Like we can't even have
Sugarcoating
conversations about
everything.
politics. Yeah, we can't have conversations about politics. We can't have conversations about gender
Life.
identity and all of this. So yeah, we're getting a little deep here, guys. And viewers too. I apologize for that. But you know, it we are making just a whole bunch of pussies is what we're doing, and
Pretty much.
and I'm serious. And if we get to a point where we did have a real World War III.
We're screwed.
I think of all of the kids that volunteered to go fight in a place they didn't even know where it was on a map. Uh, that really takes some balls to be 16 and want to enlist. Um, and people that are 25 or 30, a lot of them wouldn't even do that today. Of course, I don't want to go to war, right, or anything like that, or I don't want to have to deal with any of this stuff. But like as a parent, I also got to be worried about what is taught in public education. And so right now we're homeschooling, and we're doing it that way, and we'll do it as long as we can, right? But we won't be able to do it forever because yeah, it'll just take too much time, or I ain't going to be smart enough. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a
Honestly,
lot of stuff too that also isn't taught in school anyway.
homeschooling was the biggest blessing for me growing up. And then I went to public school starting 7th grade. In all reality, the only real thing I gained from public school was the social aspect. I mean, the
Yeah,
education
friends and
aspect. I
stuff.
did way better when I had the one-on-one time, be able to actually take my time and go at my pace. I did a lot
Yeah.
better.
And yeah, like that's something we want to for our kids, of course. So like we're in a co-op, of a whole bunch of others that also are homeschooling and whatever. So we have that like once a week, and we'll continue to do that. But yeah, the government, it's laid out what they should regulate and what they should deal with, and regulating content for kids shouldn't be one of them. I, of course, like you said, Shepard, don't agree that everything should just absolutely be free or freeing on every
Wild
platform
West.
or whatever. Yeah, I don't think that, of course, but we're swinging the pendulum the other way now, where it's like you can't say a curse word, you can't say the word die or dead,
AI
and
is
plenty
going
of
to
other
determine
words.
it.
Yeah, and like
Or
there's so
misinterpret what
much.
you mean. Because if I
Yeah,
say
there's
tranny, I'm talking about a transmission, and then it says I'm
right.
being hateful. It's like, no, I'm talking about a transmission. Why
Yeah,
isn't the
it's a
AI
transmission.
actually, AI can listen to me that closely, why isn't it listening to the whole sentence I'm saying and then processing, be like, oh, maybe he
And
meant something else.
yeah, and then too, like with all of the YouTube channels that are being demonetized right now,
Yeah, it's
for
insane.
like replicating content. I mean, they've had their channel for like over 10, 15 years, and now it's like, oh, you're duplicating too much or whatever, and so yeah, they're just being demonetized and they can't even do anything. And so that's getting really bad too. So yeah, there's levels to this with like the government overreach, but I definitely think it's overreach. And if we think
Yeah.
our games are, you know, having issues with publishers and corporate suits wanting to make decisions, boy, just wait until the gov gets more involved. Anyway, was there anything else? We've just gone full circle, folks. I hope you viewers are enjoying this. We are. Uh, is there anything else we wanted to talk about pertaining to gaming? With like
Um,
just the cost of everything and the direction that Xbox and PlayStation are currently going.
mine's a little off topic.
We can save it for next time. All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget, if you wish to sub, also like the bell as well, or click the bell, because, yeah, if you don't do both, you're not going to be seeing my videos, which is kind of insane. Thank you, Shepard, for letting me know that. Also, too, there's various content every week on the channel. And again, this channel is not to necessarily enforce your views. It's to give you the news. And to have a little bit of pushback and some discussion. And I appreciate those that actually have real discussions in the comments with me and other viewers. I appreciate that. Also, you can follow me over at Twitch if you'd like. It Don't Turn On Thee. Have not been able to stream games lately, but when I do, you can check. You guys still voted for Dead Space. I will be streaming Subnautica 2. I will be streaming Forza 6. I will be streaming Lego Batman this month. So there's going to be plenty, and I'm going to need footage anyway for my review videos and initial looks. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one.